Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Laura Crapo, and I thought I would do another celebrity reading. Okay, I'm gonna do it on Mel Gibson. So I know some people who visited Costa Rica in the last year, and I remember seeing a video once of, I don't know if his house was for sale up in the hills there. Anyway, let's just see what's going on. Mel Gibson. Like, wearing these clogs. I think I'm gonna go barefoot. Okay. What? I didn't know that clogs blocked the third eye. Okay. Um. Mel Gibson. I don't know if he prays to the Virgin Mary, or anyway. I just feel like he has some spiritual help. Like spiritual bodyguards. That's good. Okay. I don't always pick this up. Um, oh yeah, that over there is it's like a floaty, like a massive floaty for the water, but it's um, in order to bother blowing that up, there has to be at least like 2 or 3 people here to enjoy that. Okay. Um, so I pick up on like scripture, so I get that like he studies that, or he's put in his time with the scripture. I'm just like, if you think, I'm just sort of like observing the aura, and like the first information that comes up is sort of like on the outer edge of it, and working my way in. Just like peacefully observing, like if whatever wants to come through. Mel Gibson. I feel like there's like a woman in his life who's very like, I mean, for lack of a better word, like kind of bossy, or a strong person. Like bossy can be good, you know, if you have a strong opinion and you want it to be known. That makes you the boss. Anyway, okay. I feel like he has sort of like the innocence of a child, like in his like openness to ideas, and like love, and like, you know, it's like when you meditate, you're really open to receive information. It's that kind of like innocent, that wide-eyed kind of innocence I pick up. And maybe that's why he feels like he needs some either like assistant or best friend, or some person who acts as a sort of guard, or like a intermediary person. Like, let's say you wanted to like access Mel Gibson, you'd have to like probably go through this female first, and the answer might be no. But anyway, let me just look at that more closely. I feel like if he has like projects on the go, it's very like personal, and it's not like on a group chat or group doc or whatever. It's like meaningful. Um, there's this really strong bright kind of stream of information I'm seeing here. What is that? It's like, on the one hand, it's like good news, it's like positive information, but there's like this other aspect to it. It could be just that dichotomy between like he works within the system, you know, or he has anyway, and like he has this stream of information that feels like sparkling water, like very pure, and then you have the other layer, which seems more just like negative or bland. That is like the pressure, you know, it's sort of like geology where you have like rock and dirt and then there's like a stream underneath, you know, and and then people can like tap for a well deep down and then get that like perfect water or whatever. So it's kind of like that where the pressure is great upon to bury projects that are good, that have this good information. So like while the information feels beautiful and wonderful, like there's a suppressed element. But let me just look at if that's like a dated concept or if that's right now. Yeah, Mel Gibson. Yeah, like there's this conflict that maybe that he considers between like being an insider or an outsider, and like what are the advantages of still working within the system and or not. And that's like a bit of a brain gym. I think sometimes, like obviously in today's world, like you can make a film and put it out yourself and people can watch it on the internet or whatever. So like the old days of like, let's bring out the stars and like parade them on it, like that's a very dated template for um to get attention for your project. Like even like the Met Gala and stuff just seems like really Hunger Games at this point. Like why, like who, it's the same people, like like there's more than 30 people in the world of interest. So it's like it just seems really Hunger Games and like tired at this point. So it's like just because that's the structure. I mean, like if you think about it, and when I grew up in the late 60s, early 70s, like my childhood years, like everything was like a variety show because there were not a lot of channels, and like you had to serve all the audiences in one show. So it's like we got the comic, we got the juggler and the tap dancer. What, you know, it's just like, and then an interview, like it's just like everything at once. And similarly, uh, these sort of antiquated ways of sort of Hunger Games, like here are like top people, you know, like it's very dated, but like I guess it's the handoff to like, you know, passing the baton to, to like the new whatever Gen Z kind of ways. Like it's like an awkward baton pass in mid sprint, right? So because he's like, I don't know if he's like my age or maybe slightly older, I don't know. Like he would still be, because he was part of that older way of being trotted out like for a premiere or whatever, is familiar to him. So it might not be like that easy for him to fully reject that side of things. Um, but I just feel like I feel like it affects him like physically, like health wise, like the stress of like working within the wrong kind of structure of filmmaking and the toxicity of the point of view that doesn't mesh well with his, like, can, like, that amount of stress over time can like make anybody sick, right? Like, let's like look at solutions here, like what's going on. Something that feels really fresh and like less work for him feels like these sort of testimonials or interviews. Like, let's say for example, he still had his Costa Rica mountain pad or whatever. Um, it's like simply interviewing people there. Uh, I don't know. It just feels really strong and fresh, like full of life. It feels like a more vibrant energy than like spending forever on a complicated film that involves like a bunch of people and like crew and everything. I feel like he has like two important women in his life. One's sort of like more like a friend, but like there's a very strong long-term bond there. And that woman feels like she has like a kind of young and creative energy to her, regardless of her chronological age. This other energy that feels more like a mom type person. I don't know if he still has relatives, like parents alive. So, and I kind of feel like there's like a relationship between them that is like with this mom type person, where they see him going through certain challenges, and it's like, well, why don't you do it this way? Like, there's sort of a, it's like it's like having a teenager and saying like, this is my advice for you, son. And like the teenager doesn't always want to listen, or it's just not a perfect fit. Like, it seems like too simple a solution. Okay. um so I'm just gonna look at his like sort of psychological space a bit. It feels like he wishes people well, like in general, and but he has like some very like, he has some personal boundaries that are firm. I feel like he's like loves to laugh, but like he can be also quite like quiet and observational too. It's not every reading that I do on a celebrity that feels like they have like a strong spiritual element in terms of spiritual, like 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 whatever what it's called, like what's it called, like a Jedi, like skills. I feel like he has a bit of skills spiritually. And I feel like a lot of the energy is spent on like protection stuff and um not just for himself, but in a people pray for protection and stuff. That's normal. It almost feels like brick and mortar though, like it's really solid and uh I don't know if he's like an air sign or something. It's just a lot of his energy feels like very mental and like air. I feel like some people have said or done things that he felt like were against him and like in a saboteur kind of way, like maybe against his career or personally. And it's like very clear like what was done, who did it, when they did it. Like it's all just very cut and dry. Like it feels like objects to me. Like I feel like it's probably good he has a place like up in the woods, like in a nice climate, because like I feel like nature is very healing to him, and it's like this whole other source of information and community. Like, like, like if you're intuitive and you tap into nature, like there's a whole bunch of information there, and like, um, it's like that movie, Avatar or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? You just have to put your hand on the fern or whatever, like the roots. Like if you're good at meditating, you can tune into that, right? And it's like this mutual conversation that can be a lot more like fun than humans sometimes, if humans are just out sabotaging or whatever. Because like people who don't have like a cool creative project they're working on, like can make someone else's life their creative project to like sabotage or whatever. But it's kind of like, just like learn to knit or something. So, all right, Mel Gibson. Okay, I feel like I feel like he's not like a really good smooth talker with the ladies. Like he can be a bit like too frank or like critical or like just be like, oh, like the opposite of like like Julio Iglesias or something, like just not doesn't have that like wine and candlelight smooth talker kind of thing. Sorry, someone's like yelling in the background. It's probably just construction related. Okay, Mel Gibson. I feel like he likes collecting art to some degree, like not massive paintings, but like or like maybe objects or like for instance, I really like medieval icon paintings, mostly from Russia, and so you might have a thing like that where he likes, and so some of those paintings, people like before the smartphone, people had like a portrait of their loved ones like eye on a ring or like a little a little portrait, like a little triptych or something, or just a folding painting where you like open it and it's like, oh my god, I love that person. Or if you're a praying person, it could be like, Jesus or Mary or um, Saint Christopher, whatever, Archangel Michael, whatever it might be. So it could be like, it feels like artwork on a smaller scale. So it could be like religious icon painting, or just like you can't be bothered with like giant paintings. Okay. Okay, what else? It's like it's like a very different energy than other celebrities I've read on this channel. So it's just like it's like touring a house's architecture like that I hadn't seen before. So I'm just having a look. That's why I'm quiet a lot. I feel like this is very petty, but like I feel like he is very specific about how he wants his food prepared, or like what kind of food, or is this organic, or so if he has a private chef or a private grocery shopper, there's very detailed instructions. I feel like that being kind of like that communication to women that I mentioned before, like um there's some healing that could be done around that, to make because there is a part of him that, like I said, like this sort of openness, and it just feels like these eyes of wonderment, like a childlike wonder. But at the same time, like people have hurt him and like sabotaged him, so he has a defensive side. Like the feeling is like if you were to meet him and he was interested in talking to you, there'd be a sort of like if you watch those true crime interviews where it's like, oh, tell me about yourself, or like there's a lot of observational stuff going on before anything gets too deep, right? But if someone didn't like want really anything from him and just wanted to hang out, or uh like have a good nature day, or like have some laughs and thank you and goodbye, like brief visits feel like easier. And I mean, we all should get to know people a bit better before we get in too deep anyway. So, but I do feel like there's things that he might miss, like from regular life. What was that? It was like crazy. Anyway, that was either a blue jay or something bigger than that, tree related. Okay. Yeah, so there's just some like I feel like if he were penciling in like ideas for a future lifetime, it would be like don't be famous. So you can do like stuff you used to love doing where you weren't so recognizable, and you could just like go to a pub or just have like you didn't have to like live on a compound or in a remote place because you're over being approached and stuff like that. Like I've only met one person like who I spent a bunch of time with whose face is super well known, and it was kind of like annoying to him to have people constantly be like thinking about talking to him and then talking to him and then like, you know, it's just like uh exhausting. um yeah, so I sort of feel like nature, let's say he lived near like a waterfall, or even if it's not a big one, just like I feel like the personality of nature or these specific things that he's around like give him that same sort of joy as a friend or whatever, where it's like every day the waterfall is like a little bit different, but it's still the waterfall and it's like you can count on it and that kind of thing. And it's like it'd be let's say let's say it was like a gently rolling waterfall that you could sit in. Like it's like nice to spend time interacting with the waterfall and you get that energy and joy. Like you might that might feel similar to hanging out with someone who has good energy, like and you feel lifted up or supported or whatever. Like nature plays a big role for him in terms of I don't know why it's hard to talk. Okay. I feel like there are some people like in his life who are frustrated they can't have more access to him, whether it's like an ex or something like that. But he's just kind of like, that's life. And like, if someone has a problem with it, like, that's on them to do some self development and find your closure on your own. Like, I mean, I think personally, now that I'm older, like pushing 60 soon, like closure is a bit overrated. And so I'm kind of like in agreement with him on this one. Especially if he was with someone who's like got kind of like a strong ego, or what's that word? Like when you feel like you deserve a lot of stuff. um what is that? I know what it is, but I don't know what it is. Anyway, so they are not used to being told no. And so it's just like, you know, like the person has no chill and they're not used to hearing no, or like not today. And that's just like on that other person to grow and like just hang out with people that allow you to be domineering like that. Okay, Mel Gibson. I do feel that he'll make like some more features. But they have like a lighter touch, let's say like a lighter touch than the one he did about the life of Jesus and stuff. Um, sorry, it's very humid and hot today. Um, so okay. Um, it's sort of like how he likes to pass the time, but it's also like if he feels like a quality project, but he's not trying to blow anyone's minds with these projects. It's just what he does for a living kind of thing. But I feel like I feel like if he has like caretakers for his place, he might want to review or refresh on that. Like I feel like maybe if he doesn't spend like a whole lot of time there, there might be some people who are like hanging out. Like, he might not like everything about the situation if he knew all the details and stuff. So there's just something around that that just doesn't feel like great. Like let's say if instead he just chose some random family he knew, like with kids who'd love renting the property or whatever, that feels better than just having like some security person like just check on it from time to time if he were away for a long period. And it would also like raise the vibe of happiness like in his home to just have it like lived in by like a family with kids, like if he wasn't there full time. And also just sort of to keep this like feels like somewhat corrupt element from, I don't know, whether it's using the space or just, I don't know, like I don't want to get too deeply into it, but let's just say it's not a good vibe. um okay, well, I want to find something else positive around Mel Gibson. I feel like if he's pressured to like donate to acting stuff in like Australia or like give work, I don't think he should do that. Because I feel like there's something to do with like ocean health or like, I don't know if he likes to surf or anything. I don't know where he's from in Australia. I think he's from Australia. And something around like either safety, surfing safety. It feels like it's something on the beach or on the boardwalk. It could be like a restaurant that's like ethical fishing, surf shack. Like I kind of feel like if he wants to give back instead of like something to do with acting, I feel like it should be something kind of like fun and fresh and like about surfing and the beach and like bringing this great, let's say there's like nothing really cool on the boardwalk, uh or that it's like overpriced or whatever, like something that's either more communal and like free, or it feels like that, like something that's very supportive of just whoever, to make like a better vibe at the beach, and it has something to do with environmentalism and people having fun and like it's just more fun. I feel like he needs to have more fun, and that this place might contribute to that somehow. If he were, let's say, giving back or spending time around the public, it should be like doing what he wants to do, and he'll make something cool and more accessible and environmental that like celebrates nature and people and having fun. Because there must be a lot of pressure from people like, oh, like our acting school, whatever, needs help, like blah blah blah. But it's like he can shift and sort of feel like, I've already contributed to that, like, and now I want to do this other thing, and like that's okay. Because I think if he lives on his own terms, like in Australia in some way, like really on his own terms, and gives back the way he wants to give back, and like let's say he thinks something's missing from beach city life, or I've never been to Sydney, but like I know, I know there's a beach there, and like whether it's there or like on what is that, the east coast, somewhere. Uh, but I do feel like there's definitely something in Sydney on like that main beach there. Uh, anyway, um, there'd be something grounding for him and like really fun for him to spend more time there and do make a cool business like I've been trying to describe loosely. Um, and like nobody else can do this correctly except him. I feel like because it would be like expensive to create anything right on the beach there. So it's up to someone who has the means to make this like change possible. Like like one of my complaints about Montreal, and I've written to the mayor a few times, um, is that it's just wall to wall commerce. Like in like even in Paris, like you walk, a couple blocks and then there'll be like a tiny park, and people are having their lunch there or hiding their suitcases under the bushes there or whatever. Like it's still there's like a little free for everybody like place of peace and like Montreal has like the mountain or like Place des Arts, but like just St. Catherine could be a bit like soulless, and then it's just like everything requires someone to pay money to gain access to it. And it's not the 80s where you could just like loiter in a mall all day, like security's like you're out of here, Um, yeah, so I feel like it's something he would make to recreate that kind of like chill kind of late 70s disco era vibe of just short shorts and take half half shirts and like there's a place to be cool even if you only have like 65 cents in your pocket or whatever. All right, Mel Gibson. Okay, one last something about a grandmother or like again the older mother thing. I don't know if he's like feels like an older female relative who lives like west of where I was just talking about in a more residential area. And like it's sort of like a heavy hearted like maybe they're not like aging whatever. um I feel like he is too demanding of himself. He's like whoever put these like perfectionist ideas in his head, it was like over the top, and he's already done like a lot of cool stuff. It's just like just relax, enjoy this lie on a beach chair and take in the sun. Like don't stress, because a lot of people don't accomplish like even a speck of all the stuff he's done in his lifetime. So but if he has some kind of calling that's like still left in his life, I feel like it's to do like uplifting, fun stuff instead of being so serious. Um, and to show by example, like him just loving on his life and being joyful and like making businesses or situations that reflect that other people can also share that same kind of joy. So I'm just going to wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed this Mel Gibson reading. It's definitely different than other celebrities. And if you want to support my channel, subscribing is an awesome way to do that. I want to get, with your help, over 1,000 someday in the next decade and a half. And if you're feeling extra supportive, you can donate. Like there's information in my bio, and like, or you can like on my Amazon wish list. There's some like whatever coolant for my car. That would be cool. So like there's different ways to give, or even just like pressing like is a nice way to do it too. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed the reading, and you can also email me and tell me like what you want me to do a reading on, and I will have a look at that and probably do it. Okay, bye.